this one, this book. Okay, now you're supposed to see this book. So it's called Engineering Surveying. Basically, it's about surveying. So you can see the picture. The picture itself is quite interesting, right? Is there are some, I don't have anything. This machine. What's the name of this machine? And there are some machine, and you can see there's a lever, and there's a staff, and there's people over here measuring something. So you need a lot of measuring as well. But nowadays, is it really necessary to use a human to do all this measuring stuff? To some degree, yes. In particular, the landscape is not as very even or something. It's still need a lot of people, human, to do this kind of thing. Otherwise, if it's very flat, basically you can do by machine. Sometimes you can use a drone as well, airplane, small airplane as well. So as technology goes by, you use a lot of technology as well. Okay, so let's come to this book. This is a sixth version, edition of the book. So let's come to the menu, the content. So this book is 2007. So probably it's 2 years later. We can take a look. If I try to get the GPS in the book. So if the book have no GPS, we probably won't give too much. So this one, you have a GPS here. This book, take this book, is a lot of page, a lot of chapters. Chapter 1, chapter 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's much more detailed. It doesn't necessarily mean I have much more stuff. In principle, yes, but it doesn't necessarily mean this because they might split different kind of topic into one chapters. But anyway, so chapter 7, 8, 9. So we'll be interested in chapter 9. So chapter 9 is a satellite position. So nowadays, even your mobile phone use GPS. So you can use your mobile phone to do some measuring. Basic one, not hard one. But this one, I tried to use this machine in my university. It seems that using GPS, you need, I think the machine is much more complicated. So maybe I'll try to learn it from someone else. I guess the idea is simple. The theoretic bit is simple, but the machine look big chunky. So it's much more expensive as well. So maybe I don't know in the university they have a GPS or not. If they have a GPS, maybe we try to bother it and try to learn it GPS about. But at least we can promise is that we know how to use apply the theory bit on this labeling or on this measuring. So GPS is a very popular one. And about us, others, I think we'll come to that bit. You have some inertial system, something. So the last chapter, first chapter, I think is much more related to the mechanic. So it's very maybe for the building construction or something, bridge construction or something. Maybe you need the chapter 13 or 14. This bit is much more mechanic. You can see it's called mechanic stuff, methods. So you need some knowledge about mechanic. But for you, we focus on much more simple one, not much. So we won't come to that mechanic bit. If you're interested, you can look at this book as well. Okay, so far so good. It seems we pretty much finished the content introduction. So without further ado, we'll come to the book itself. Go into the book itself chapter by chapter. So hopefully this week we can go through some basic stuff in chapter 1. So any question? Let me see if I can let you guys raise your question. I try to figure out to make it work, but it seems like it's hard to make it work. Maybe I can look at the people and then people can, let me see. No, you can. So, so you have to stay tuned because in the end, I'll just grab this screen. Whoever on this screen, it means you attend this class. Otherwise, I regard you absent from this class. It seems almost 20 people are absent from this class. But it doesn't mean you're absent. Then since there's so many people, then we'll compromise. We won't. If you are not here, you won't get any scores. I told you already. So you must attend these lectures. At least under very exceptional cases, like you go to hospital or something, being hit by a car, blah, blah, blah. Of course, we won't let this kind of thing happen. But in these exceptional cases, we won't compromise. So you participate and you learn something. You do your homework. You finish the essay. So that's the basic idea. So if you go step by step, you'll be fine. If you just try to do something easier, probably you won't get higher benefit. Okay, so any question so far? If not, we'll come to the. It doesn't have your name. That's interesting. So we have let me see. It's updating, but I have to manually update the whole information. So now, I guess you are on the list. You're here on the list. So Aden, right? Adna, you are on the list. So yes. So far we have 29 people on the list. So makes no excuse. So if you are on the if you are not on the list, basically I don't take any excuse. It means that you don't attend this class. So I can't take any because you are so far away from me. So I can't take everyone's excuse as reasonable because I can only treat as you're absent in the class. So based on the fact, I don't base on your personal circumstance. So please take care of yourself and make time for the listening and the learning. So okay, we only have maybe a quarter to run. So let me come to the chapter 1 of our main book. So meanwhile, let me just minimize everything and close the book 1. If we want to use book 2, I'll let you know. And for example, like chapter 2 in this book is better written than the other book. You see, errors and uncertainty. You talk about something, but the reason I told you I use chapter 1 is because it's much more logical. I use some mathematics reasoning behind. So that's the reason I choose chapter 1. But it doesn't mean it's the most comprehensive book. We still need some supplement ones. Okay, so let's come to the book 1. Let me close this second book and then come to the book 1. Your name is don't worry because in the end we'll update and I'll post your name in the web chat. So if your name is not on the list, then you can let me know. But stay tuned. We'll do this maybe around 4 o'clock something. We'll make sure you are not there long or there behind. Okay, so for a moment, let's look at the chapter 1 about the original book. So this is our textbook. Let me look at chapter 1. Okay, so let me see. Your name is not here. Don't worry. Just pay attention to our lecture. I'll grab the screen in the end because it needs to be updated because people come, people go, and the system is not stable as well. So sometimes your head pop out, sometimes not. So it means the system is not stable. But I'll make everything's correct in the end. So don't worry. Okay, so now let's come to the book one again. This is our main book, surveying. And we only have the previous one is called engineering surveying, and this is called surveying. So that's the reason in book two, you have something related to mechanic, because it's called engineering surveying. And your surveying is called civil surveying. So basically, but does that mean civil surveying you don't need any mechanic? No, of course you need some. The more you know, the better, right? That's a basic idea. If you can't just say I know how to measure distance. You need to know way a lot, more than just measuring. You need to know a lot. Okay, so let's come to chapter one. And chapter one, of course, we come to the menu, the content. Chapter one. What's the content of the chapter one? So you can see chapter one is very short. We only have how many pages? 5 pages. So it's incredibly short to be a chapter one. But it will go through a lot. So it means we won't just read through the book and assume you understand. We won't. We will make sure you understand every bit. What does it mean? It means we'll come to, for example, come to the videos. We'll explain more, and many things will be accompanying this. So this is basically just a guideline. You can treat it as a PPT, a guideline. Otherwise, a 5 page, if we read it through within like 10 minutes, we can read it through. But you get nothing because it's very. I won't say it's very deep, but it's a very. You need a lot of basic stuff to go on, and then this is not enough because this basics about if you see through is about the statistics. You see, you need some statistics, right? You need something about standard deviation, variance. I bet you know or heard a little bit about this, but you're just not so familiar with. So we'll come to this bit as well to make sure you understand, because this is the main part. I don't mean the main part of the whole course. I mean the main part for the couple weeks, just to learn the arrow speed. And so let's say so let's come to the chapter one, and then whatever we need to call out to other stuff, look outside. Then I'll come to that bit. I'll use the other screen, and then we'll come from there. Okay, let's come to the chapter one. So this is chapter one. It's called errors in measurements and their propagation. You might wonder what do you mean propagation? Propagation is an idea like in measurement we have something called direct measurement, like use a tape, use a laser, use a whatever, all kind of tools. All these are called direct measurement. It means use your hands, use a machine, you measure it directly. So that's called direct measurement. And you might wonder if you have a direct measurement, what do you mean you have other stuff called indirect measurement? Yes, you have something called indirect measurement. And you might wonder why do you have an indirect measurement? Indirect measurement means you can't mean, for one thing, you can't measure things directly. You have to guess based on other ideas. And sometimes, for example, you want to measure the distance between Earth and let's say another stellar planet outside the solar system. Then how can I measure this? You can use a tape. You can use some real stuff. But you can use what? Indirect measurement. It means you can use the infrared light or something that radiate from the plant, and then you can measure this kind of thing. So it become indirect measurement. You don't measure the distance directly, but you measure the you analyze the infrared light and to tell approximately the distance between. So let's see. Yeah, someone sent me. Yes, I think some of you say you already the link only works for mobile phone. So maybe try mobile phone. Try mobile phone. Try mobile phone for the link. Because I'm not sure. I'm using computer. My side is I'm using computer because the screen is larger for me. But your side, I don't know. Some people say you need mobile phone. So try mobile phone first. And I bet computer should be working as well. But anyway, try mobile phone first. Because the screen of mobile phone is very small. So anyway, let's continue. So what I just say is you have a direct measurement. You have an indirect measurement. Of course, indirect measurement basically is based on analysis. It means that you don't directly measure something, but based on the information, in particular physics, mathematics, engineering, knowledge, this kind of background knowledge, for you to do the indirect measurement. And do people prefer direct or indirect? Basically, it's hard to tell because direct measurement means money, it costs. If you can use sometimes you can use an indirect measurement, then it saves some money as well. But it's hard to tell. It depends on the real situation. But you have to learn both. Okay. Let's look at section 1.1. It's called error types. And here, if you look at, by the way, I can underline as well. So let me use some functionality of this PDF editor. So you see, I can underline something. So you can see. This is called ghost errors. Ghost errors, they mean not errors at all, but result of mistakes. Mistakes comes from many things. One of them is like human training. For example, if you don't take this course, you are not properly trained. And for you to have a good measurement, correct measurement in all stuff as well. Okay, and we also have a systematic error. Systematic because you have some, it's called functional relation based on deterministic. So it means the system basically comes from the system. And you also have a random error. Random error basically doesn't come from the system. It means it's not control. So one is internal errors. Systematic errors basically internal. For example, the machine itself break down something. Internal errors. But random errors comes from outside basically. It's called accidental errors. For example, if you have a lightning, you've been hit by lightning or something. It causes the instability in the current flow or something, and then the machine break down or something. Then it causes your inaccurate measurement. So in particular, if you are using laser or something, and the temperature is not good, or weather is not good or something, it might influence your measurement as well. All this have to be taken into consideration. So at least you learn something about physics, and the basic one. I don't mean the deep one. Some about physics, something about mechanics. It's hard to have an accurate measurement. So you can't just rely on the machine. Sometimes the machine is highly influenced by outside factors like temperature, pressure, human action, behavior, blah, 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 all sorts of things. And one by one, they have to be taken into consideration. You have to adjust what you measure to give a proper correction. And all this correction will be in the form of something called error form. So you have to tell people how much error during your measurement. So no measurement is perfect. Every measurement have a error. So you have to specify how much error in your measurement. So as a surveyor doesn't mean you have to survey everything to be extremely accurate. You can't. No one can do this. But as a surveyor, it means you have to specify your measurement and tell people what kind of error in your measurement. That's your main job. So not only have you to measure, use machine to measure, you also have to tell people what's the error behind this measurement, what's the problem of this machine in some sense. Okay, so I think we pretty much run out of time. So what am I going to do now is I try to update the people in this classroom, online classroom, and then grab it, post on WeChat, and then you make sure you are on the name list. Okay, so stay tuned. On my screen, we only have 29 people, so a lot of you still haven't come to the lecture. Coming to a lecture is very important. It's not like you just check in to make sure you are attending the lecture. You have to learn something, really learn something gradually. You won't learn but in one day. You have to learn it gradually. Okay, let me grab this. So part of you probably is here. Yes, let me grab the other part. The other half. Let me grab the other. Okay, so make sure your name. How come we only have so many people? We have 30 people on the list. But do I post 30 people? Make sure your name is on this list because this is a proof of your attendance. So your and you so if you are here and your name maybe I post to somewhere else. Let me correct it. I post to somewhere else. Yes. I post to the other lecture. So let me try again. Let me try to post this one again. And some of you, they don't belong to this class. Maybe they already come to this class. Please log out because they're supposed to begin from 4:30. So some of them probably already come to this class. So that's the problem of this system. So if you are not, if you still, because now I'm just call a roll. So if you doesn't belong to this class, please just log out. Now I'm just checking people who really have to be here. Okay, for those who tag civil surveying, please make sure your name is on this list. And by the way, your name is on this list. So where is the class leader? Class leader is Harif, right? Okay, where is Harif? I think who is the class leader? Yeah, Hafiz. Okay, so if you are not on this, okay, so I'll let Harif do this job. So So Hafiz, not copy and recall whoever is here today and take it and write down the date. I think the copy is there. So I'll let you do the job. Hafiz, are you up to it? Okay, let's call a day. And for other things, please talk to Hafiz about your attendance. I have another class to run, so I have to log out. So I'll shut the class and everyone log out at the class. And if you are in this class today, please tell Hafiz, and he will take a call role for me. Okay, so don't worry. If you are here, just tell Hafiz you are here. So we trust you. But because the system is still a bit unstable. So of course, if some proof is even better. To let Hafiz know you really are here. But anyway, you just tell him you are here. I think it's okay. He will take for you. Okay. Let's call it day, and then we should see each other on Thursday. Thursday. Okay. I'll call a day, and I'll shut the class down because we have another class. So I have to kick everyone out of this class and embrace another batch of people come in. Okay. Sorry, guys. Bye.
ਹਾਫਿਜ਼ ਅੱਜ ਤੂੰ ਪਾਗਲ ਹੋਵੇਂਗਾ। ਤੈਨੂੰ ਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਕਲਾਸ 'ਚ ਥੋੜਾ ਤੰਗ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਅੱਜ।